Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Maddie. I don't have a niche, I have opinions. Okay, so this is technically like a re-upload, but kind of sort of a recording of a live stream that I did last night. However, with some technical difficulties, not showing up on my page. However, because I was so just happy about what I produced, I decided to just do it again. So, but this is more of a recording than a live stream, but it was just so good to let go. So what it's kind of missing from the footage that I no longer have because of technical difficulties is that I was working on like part two of the Lauryn Williams assignment I was working on, which is the character questionnaires. And I'm scrolling up so you can see that I'm doing like the character questionnaires. And I actually did a little bit on her. I finished up working on her personality as well as no, I was gonna do a little bit of friends and family, but because I was talking so much about like some of her conflict, I decided to just switch back down and go to conflict and kind of start from the bottom. Sorry, okay. So I know you see me drinking water a lot and doing some of these videos, and it's literally because I'm prone to dry mouth, plus I'm still recovering from a tooth extraction. But long story short, that's what I was working on. Now, for those of you who don't know, Lauryn Williams is one of four characters, main characters in Unfriendly Balck Mutants. She's telekinetic, telepathic, and she's actually, and I'm gonna scroll up so you can see it. She's actually 42, but because of a de-aging accident, she kind of looks 18. And I even have that she was born in 1978. And then right here, I said her last name is Williams, but she was born Phillips. So to kind of explain that a bit, just I'm gonna touch on it briefly, but then I'm gonna touch on it in more detail when I do the writing stream dedicated to her best friend Mercedes. But it's basically Mercedes is her best friend, but she's also kind of like a mentor figure in this story. And her last name is Williams, so when she kind of took over the parental like um ADHD, sorry, mine went blank. She kind of took over the parental custody. That's the word I'm using, but it's not the right word. Guardianship, that's the word. She took over parental guardianship over her and gave her her last name, which of course, she wouldn't have really been too upset about. So yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, because of timing, and I'm still kind of upset about like the situation of the technical difficulties. I'm gonna set my timer for about 25 minutes, just so I won't lose track of time. Because when I really get into these sessions, I will lose track of time. And then I said on the stream last night that I think I'm gonna try to explain like kind of my process more, because when I do like the writing streams, it just shows me kind of just like working on the assignments but not really explaining anything. So this time I'm gonna try my best to explain what I'm doing, why, and just the best possible. So I'm starting the timer, and I'm actually gonna pick up from where I left off from last night's stream. So I'm gonna be focused on her conflict, and then if I have time, I'm gonna do some other stuff. Also, you see on the screen my outline here, And so it's kind of long for now, and I'm actually working with a partner to help me condense it. And I sent them my outline. My partner is non-binary, so of course I'm using the they them pronouns. So I sent them the outline in the email, and it was actually less than what I have right now because I actually added more since I sent that email. However, my partner's been, busy dealing with their own things. So I haven't I've asked them about it, but they've been busy. So I kind of just been, trying to keep as much space as possible and try to do, as much work on my own. But long story short, my outline is a little long. For now, like I said, my partner's gonna help me condense it. But doing the process of me like answering some of these questions, I do tend to add things to the outline as you see doing some of the streams. So I'm gonna be doing that in this video. Okay, so I'm starting a timer now, and we can get started. Okay, so conflict. So I started from the bottom up. I don't normally do that, but for some reason, well, depending on how I want to go with my project, I do certain things, but for this, I don't normally start from the bottom up. Excuse me. But I decided to start it from there. And so the first question I answered was, who are the enemies and why? And I said, the official, and she just doesn't like them because they're bullies. And then with the power system within the Wigden Academy. So they're bullies basically, and they're kind of like, I don't know if the word is power hungry. It's I don't know what to call. I don't know what the word is called necessarily, but but basically they're just more prone to maintaining the power system of within the academy. And so I'm gonna share this word that my Twitch viewer Dycher29, my Twitch viewer sent me the other day to explain what I'm trying to do with the school. So recently I decided on this idea that when it comes to students being in the factions, they don't get to pick their factions. The head faction, along with the head mistress of the school, the leader, yeah, members of the head faction, which is in this case the officials, as well as the head mistress, get to pick which student goes where in which faction, which also determines which classes they take. They take. Now, which classes they take and what they need. And it was based on the this idea that when it comes to students, no peer students helping each other because they know what they're watching their fellow classmates so they can kind of see what a certain classmate might need and things like that. So it's that's where it started from. Now, it was when I came up with the idea, I was kind of sort of inspired by Sky High, where the coach gets to decide. And I think for that too, I'm gonna actually have like the coach of the school kind of participate in that as well because as him being the combat class instructor, he works with these students as well. So it was inspired by Sky High, where the coach gets to decide, if a student's powers is good for sidekick or hero. And some And that same viewer Dicer told me that it sounded a little also like the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter, which I never seen the Harry Potter series, so I didn't think of that. But well, no, I'm not gonna lie, I did see the first two movies when I was younger, but then I just kind of lost interest in Harry Potter, so I knew what he was talking about, and I said I didn't think of that, but yeah. So he shared this word with me, and I never heard this word before. And which is another reason why I love working with other writers because you get to learn new things. So the word he used was they actually sent this the definition to me, and I tweeted about it. So on my Twitter page, which you can follow. Yeah, Maddie Gags 94. You can reach my Twitter page by going to like my my channel and then my about page. Now the word is called merit. I'm gonna say it wrong because I'm not used to it, so I do apologize. Meritocracy. The definition of meritocracy is a system, organization, or society in which people are chosen and moved into positions of success, power, and influence on the basis of their demonstrated abilities and merits. So the reason for me saying that is that within is kind of the meritocracy. It's kind of a meritocracy. And I've also explained in the stream, and I'm gonna re-explain this again, that the thing was with the factions, it started off just being, peers supposed to be help classmates helping classmates, supposed to be helping their peers. And then over time, the idea of the factions got warped and then it just became this faction is better than this faction. This faction is not worth the time of day because they're this, or you're part of this faction, so you're not worthy of certain. So it's things like that, and I've actually spoke on. I think one of the main issues that I'm focusing on with this story as a whole is the idea of privilege within a marginalized group. Now, if you catch me looking back and forth in between the camera and to the side, I actually just the way my setup is, it's kind of weird for now, and when I get more space, it's gonna be better. But my computer monitor is here, my camera's right here. So that's kind of why I'm always looking like I'm to the side. But I'm looking back and forth right now because I'm also talking about what's going on. While I'm talking, I'm actually actively looking at the information because I know where I stored it, and I'm also actively changing things in like the outline and things like that. Like I went to go look up one of the teacher names, and his name was Callan Greenway, or as I have my outline, sexy teacher Callan, who was actually in a relationship with another teacher at the school, but they're so irrelevant it doesn't matter. But for some for one of my little fans, I'm supposed to be just never got around to it writing a fic about these two characters because they're interested in them. So that may be like a little side project I do before. Um, it's not before, probably a while, November. But I'm gonna try my best to stick to the NaNoWriMo objective. Like I literally put all of my other assignments to the side. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay. So I added that to the outline. So now I'm back to the questionnaire. So the next question is, where do they go when they angry? The answer was Nora statue if she can't talk to Mercedes, otherwise she'll bug Mercedes. That is something that is like shown throughout the it's more in the first, you see it more in the first act, but then it kind of peels off in the second act because she kind of develops some friendships and things, but it's kind of more in the first act because in the first act I have it to where like it's mainly about Lauren's thing about Tasha always being around the officials, and she's just like she keeps going to her. She's like, she was hanging out with them. She was hanging out with them. She was hanging out with them, and Mercedes like, why do you care? She's like, I don't care. I'm just saying she's hanging out with them. And she's just like, okay, you want me to do what about it? So that's gonna be a fun dynamic. I cannot wait to explore. Okay, have they ever been bullied or teased? I'm gonna answer this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it first. The officials in her earlier days in the 90s, the officials called themselves trying to tease her. It was just never successful because she didn't care. Okay, and I'm going to make another note about something that happens in Act Two. So I just remember something. So I'm gonna say originally for now. So originally the prologue is supposed to take place like when they're preparing for this tournament, and the tournament comes up later, but it comes out that the tournament was outlawed. And it's kind of sort of pours into Lauren as well because she's actually in this scene. So I can read this part right here. It shows that this little bit of dialogue that just popped into my head. I'm just trying to get it out now. So that's one of my writing processes. I'm literally just like can take notes about something, and then more ideas come into my head, and dialogue comes to my head. And honestly, this has been ongoing for like months of me trying to prep this story for NaNoWriMo, and it has not slowed down when I start to pick this back up. And so because of all of this, I tried to do this with other stories as well. Okay. So the way I'm actually typing this up now is kind of weird, but it's literally because this is one of those things that's on my to-do list to do further research about. to do further research about when I'm to do further research about when I'm kind of drafty, and then like probably the last few things, and then I remember. I mean, not then I remember the last couple of weeks of like Preptober, and I still have a lot to do for Preptober. I would have liked to have been done with at least the main characters by this point, but life, distractions, ADHD, all that jazz kind of just pushed everything back. And then I didn't really got more serious about my prepping work until October, and I thought this month would be good enough to do it. And I'm like, I really should have started back in September, but that's just me. Okay, so that dialogue is done. Well, series of dialogue is done. Okay, so back to the questionnaire. And I know, like, my thoughts, like, the back and forth sounds strange, but this is literally, like, my thought process, and this is mostly ADHD. And I've been trying to write with ADHD because I literally been having issues getting back on my meds. But I'm also in the process of working on it. So I'm not just out here being, in lack of a better word, just neurotic. But I'm managing it well, mainly self awareness. But that's kind of why on the streams you kind of see me switch back and forth. It's really because ADHD, and then when I kind of get into it, um, it just like dialogue comes to me. And then most times I just really get in the zone, so that's why most of my streams are quiet. But I'm trying to be more talkative on them. Okay, so what living person do they despise? Whew. I've talked about this briefly. I can't wait. I can't even say that because okay. That's the best way I can describe this. So the question is, what living person do they despise? The answer is really her parents, but it was kind of like that way until they passed on. Cause during the course of doing it, actually at the beginning, it's one of the story. It's one of her plot lines that her mom had passed away, and she kind of doesn't care, and it stems from her background with her parents. So yeah, I'm not gonna say so. This is gonna come up in the concept post. So around the time she was born, this is like the 80s and 90s when she started getting her telepathic powers. 'Cause I don't know if her telekinesis came in later or after that, but she was around the age of 12 when her telepathy really started taking over. And because she didn't know what it was, all she kept saying is she's hearing voices, she's hearing voices, because she didn't know how else to really explain what's going on with her. And that kind of, mind you, mental health, especially in the black community then, and even somewhat now, it's just getting better now. Because mental health in the black community then wasn't not taken as seriously. So it became a situation of where the parents decide to sign over their rights, lock her up, and we just never speak of her again. And that's kind of what happens. Kind of depressing, but it's kind of why she is the way she is. That's the best way I can think to explain it. Okay. Choice of weapon. I'm actually gonna go onto my notebook and look to see if I ever gave her a weapon. I don't think I felt the need to give her a weapon because some some of the characters in here do have weapons, and I was mainly inspired by Ruby, which I have need to pick back up on. Yeah, yeah. Some other characters do have weapons. Technically, Carson's arm is a weapon, so that counts. No, I never gave her a weapon, but some of the yeah. So some of her yeah, she doesn't have weapons. I can get rid of that question. But some of the characters do have weapons. What are their phobias? She doesn't have any. Okay, who do they love to hate? I'm gonna say Sarah. And the reason I'm gonna type it about my answer verbally first. Because it actually can't type and answer at the same time. Type and talk at the same time. So I'm gonna say Sarah. And it's literally because Sarah is, and I'm gonna probably do a stream dedicated to her eventually. I think she'll be my next character dedication stream, but then I also have another stream dedicated to Mercedes. So Sarah may be my next one. Um, Sarah is basically like the villain of the story, but Lauren doesn't like Sarah because she's the manipulative, like bossy, and mainly because she's manipulative, and then also her privilege. Like she's literally and that's kind of stereotypical to have the queen bee. But honestly, I love these kind of characters. But I'm kind of putting her in a bad. You can understand why. It's just she's spoiled, she's bossy, she's manipulative. And honestly, out of three of those, the manipulation is her worst character trait because it becomes detrimental to the main conflict in this whole thing, which is the main characters versus the officials. Well, it kicks off the main conflict. So yeah, she's basically that stereotypical queen bee girl, just like on 10. But I'm gonna talk more about her when she gets her own stream. I'm gonna say also. Because that's basically what it is. Okay, so privilege is a word I need to learn to spell. I see. Okay. How do they perceive strangers? That one's it. I'm going to say this. So, everyone is a threat until proven otherwise. My sketchbook. So, one of the things I just liked about I need to spell her sketchbook. So, one thing did this come to me is like a hobby for her is for some reason I just started picturing her sketching and painting a lot. So I decided that what not really painting. I said painting in like an old note somewhere, but sketch sketching. I imagine her sketching a lot. So that was something I decided could be part of her, thing. She loves to sketch. So if she could say one thing from a burning house, it would be her sketchbook. Okay. What is your character's kryptonite? Are they most likely to fight with their fists? Both. Wait, both. Because one is a spitfire that can fight. That's basically it. That kind of comes out more. But it's funny because she's more introverted. I I think she's introverted. Let me go see. Because all our characters like. No, I'm sorry. I said she's extroverted for the right person. So it's like you only get let in if she feels like you should be let in. Okay. Okay. So the question about the kryptonite, I'm gonna say like telepathic slash telekinetic immunity. And one of the things what I'm doing with like my as part of my research, I have been trying to like reevaluate like which characters I'm actually using and then look at which powers they have and their immunity and then apply it to another character. So it's really to create more conflict. To have those other characters who are like immune to their their powers. Okay, so that's what I think her kryptonite would be. And the last question is how do they respond to a threat? I'm gonna say they respond accordingly, and we saw that after Tati attacked them. Okay, so that's it. That added more work to I know just a little bit more about this character, and I've expressed it more, in the outline. And that is all for Lauren. So I'm up in arms. I'm really trying not to get like the characters too many attention because two of the characters got like two videos dedicated to them. So I'm really trying not to play for. This is like the second video she has. So I think I'm gonna finish up her characters. Um, yeah, I think I'm finished up her character off video. But that's it for today. Now the next one I said is most likely gonna be about Sarah. And I cannot wait to dive deep into that because that's gonna be fun. Okay? So thank you all for watching this video. Please support Unfriendly Balck Mutants. The link to the WIP trailer is down below. Also, links to my Patreon and Ko-fi will be down below. So if you follow those pages, you will see the concept post I'm going to be posting, in preparation for NaNoWriMo Misfit. Then going to be posting more things over there, possibly snippets. So if you follow both those pages, you'll see snippets. So that's it for the video. Have a nice day, night, morning, or whatever time stream you're watching this video. And that's all. Okay.